Hey, did you know? The DCU Lex Luthor is really just the Riddler in disguise. Did you know that the Death Note was previously owned by Napoleon Bonaparte? Did you know over a quarter of Pokemon, according to the Sinnoh are actually forms of deformed human? Well, I made all of that up, but I had you going, huh? The internet loves fan culture. It feeds it. Fan theories are attempts to guess ahead or rewrite people's own media. And not only are some of them genius, but they can get pretty goddamn wild. Let's go. What are some hit, relevant franchises to get some sweet, sweet revenue off of? Oh, It! It is no spoiler to say that Pennywise is not just a scary, scary clown. The dancing clown, or It, portrayed by both Tim Curry and Skarsgård, has the ability to transform into any single fear. So a couple bright pop culture loving people on the internet thought, hey, that's a bit like Harry Potter. Which raises the question, is Pennywise a Bogart? Bloody hell, Harry. That clown is going to kill us, Ron. Oh, bother. J.K. Rowling's Boggarts also operated in a similar way. Because Boggarts are shapeshifters. They take the shape of whatever a particular person fears the most. That was weird. Sounds pretty solid, huh? Well, no. Even if you looked over the fact that this is a J.K. Rowling Stephen King crossover of sorts, yeah, media doesn't work like that. The lore still doesn't add up. Bogarts in the Harry Potter series are known to be non-violent. Yeah? Well, this Bogart apparently loves killing kids. With the release of the new movie, many Pennywise theories are actually circulating right now. Who could the clown be? What are its powers? What does it want? Well, although it's not in the TV or cinema adaptations, his origins have actually been explained in the book. Yeah, actually read this thing. In the books, It is known as an Eternal, who battled the being that created the universe. Which by the way is a giant space turtle called Maturin. Okay, maybe don't read this book. Maturin, of course, is from the dawn of time itself. How much cocaine was used in the writing of this book? And Pennywise was actually stated to landed on Earth during prehistoric times, a bit before Harry Potter. So yeah, that answers that. Pennywise has his own lore. Also, why would Lupin allow Pennywise in a classroom of school children? Actually, this is a pretty piss-poor theory. 1 out of 5. Disproven. Debunked! Play the debunked music. Can we introduce this? I love this. And I'm done. Hey, let's talk about Marvel. Because we don't talk about Marvel nearly as much as we should on this channel. A little blue man called Thanos is coming to the MCU very, very shortly. Yeah, how about you get off that throne, you fat fuck, and actually do something? It's been 7 years. And the first thing, comic-wise, that Thanos is gonna go do is go get those pesky gems. Which gems? The Infinity Stones. The plot MacGuffins of the last 10 films. And for the most part, we know where the power, mind, soul, space, we know where all of them are in the verse. Other than a couple. And very recently, Doctor Strange's necklace was confirmed to be the Time Gem. Necklace. N. And here's where things get interesting. The Scepter, the Tesseract, the Ether. Take the first letter of each of those items, and they spell out Thanos. The Tesseract, the Ether, the Necklace, the Orb, and the Scepter. So what is H? Maybe we will be able to use Thanos' name to predict the final location of the Infinity Stone. And that's interesting. What is the H? H. Hulk, Hemsworth, homosexual romance? No. Oh, Heimdall, with that weird gem-shaped hole in his design. Heimdall, or Hela, the villain of Thor Ragnarok. Who knows which one, but we'll probably find out in about a month's time anyway. More importantly, is Thor Ragnarok gonna lead directly into Infinity War? Hela is the Norse goddess of spirits, reviving the dead, and although she's not my favourite Marvel villain, she's about to be a big deal. All I'm saying is, someone's dying. And I would not be surprised if we had Thanos guest star in the final 10 minutes. In fact, can I bet money down on that? This theory has become so recognised that it's verging on intentional. We're just one movie away from confirming this theory for good. It just seems too coincidental to not be on purpose. But then again, acronyms are quite easy to do. Very vague. Like, necklace? That's a bit of a stretch. But whether it's true or not, I give this a perfect score, 10 out of 10. Listen to that stock audience clap. They love it. They love it. Ooh, it's getting a bit jazzy, nice. What's this one then? Rick and Morty doesn't quite fit, but we'll run with it. The second that Rick and Morty introduced parallel universes as a core element of the show, fan theories exploded. Rick is evil Morty is Jerry is Jerry, Rick is a future Morty. Wait a minute, that one actually makes quite a bit of sense. Okay, so remembering that Rick's backstory was fake from the Series 3 opener, reminds us that we know almost nothing about this character's origin. This theory was made prolific by Redditor Ponce de la Pone, and although there's nothing confirmed or really that solid, this theory adds up to a bunch of weird coincidences and little details.
Is that
me? I used to wear blue pants.
Oh, so like Morty wears.
Booyah! Hold your breath!
Hey, what the hell, Rick? What the hell?
You dodged a bullet, Morty. Trust me. Puffy vagina.
What's wrong with that? That doesn't sound like a problem to me.
How do you know that? How would Rick know so much about a girl Morty is about to spend a lot of time with? Similarly, in the pilot, Rick just casually mentions a girl called Jessica, who Morty barely knows yet. For someone who doesn't care, why does Rick know so much about Morty's personal life, more than he knows himself? Because he's already lived it. And then there's that weird resemblance between Diane and Annie. There's a lot of evidence here. And it would also make sense in the world of the series. Like, that would be about something. So many fan theories don't add anything to their respective shows. This one might be the point of Rick and Morty. Rick fashioning Morty into being like him is actually, that's not even subtext, that is the current point of the current season. Disillusioning him, making him ready. The current Morty is hilariously bitter, and we're only on season 3. Many episodes have shown Rick trying to instill his sense of nihilism in his own family, which is why, of course, he's bad for them. Now, do I need to explain the entire point of the show to you? No, of course not. Does that necessarily mean that he is literally Morty? Probably not, but it's a good theory to keep your eyes on. And look up the Reddit if you can, there's loads of little details that too many to mention. I'm penciling this one in as a 3 out of 5, because I like it, but I also feel like Dan Harmon is too clever a man to be sussed. Rick and Morty is a mindfuck that really revels in being one step ahead of its audience. And you know what? I got faith in that to keep delivering. Anyway, for the final theme, what else is big right now? Death Note! No, actual Death Note. Namely, the final episode. In the Yellow Warehouse, some interesting events go down in the climax. It's Light versus Near, Mind Game versus Mind Game. The final move of their 7-year war relies on Teru Mikami, who has the notebook outside ready to kill them all. If he has the right notebook, then every single witness to the Death Note will be killed, an ultimate victory. But Near swaps the notebooks around, meaning he writes in nothing and Light's name is not in the notebook, meaning only he could be Kira. It's a pretty good switcheroo, hardly the most insane twist in this cat and mouse game, but when you really piece it together, the trick doesn't make much sense. Sure, Near does have the notebook the entire time. For example, Near's final prediction counts on Mello sacrificing himself. How did he know he was going to do it? What did this tie into? Why make a plan depending on this variable? How could Near predict the movements of people he didn't really know 5 steps ahead? How did he guess XYZ? Really, the final thing in Death Note came down to a bluff. Who's double bluffing? Who's triple bluffing? Quadruple bluffing? You bet it. Who tricked the most? so Nier's explanation doesn't really cover everything. Unless Nier is psychic, this is not an intellectual victory. But here's the thing, Nier is not and was never L. L definitely had his own share of ethical issues, really desperately wanting to win, but Nier, as stated by Olba, would actually outwardly cheat. And here's an interesting notion. The note can control people's actions 23 days leading to their death, whilst Nier owns Mikami's name, identity, and owns a death note. What if Nier cheated and wrote Mikami's name in the death note to control his final victory? It's smart. It's ethically fucked, but it's smart. And completely in the realms of possibility. It explains why Mikami's got all those weird facial expressions going on. Why he'd suddenly drop the ball when him and Light had been perfect up until this point. And also, Nier's explanation isn't very good. A more devoted fan than me could pick 1,000 holes in it. So, did Nier cheat his victory by giving in and using the Death Note too? It's very possible, and it's actually something commented on in the manga. The true victor is Matsuda. All I'm saying is, there should have been more alarm when Mikami mysteriously died 10 days into his prison sentence, leaving Nier, head of the police force and governor, with a Death Note that he is not afraid to use. The main writer, when questioned on this huge detail about the series, is very, very coy and vague, even going as far to say that I want it down to individual interpretation of the reader. And yeah, that's all very well and good, but something still happened, and thus isn't really that subjective. But you know what? I can confirm it. Light's final instruction to Mikami was to not take the notebook out till the end. He really stresses this. The manga really emphasizes this sentence. And Mikami doesn't. Mikami got so caught up in his little psycho rage fantasy that he took the notebook out prematurely. Why would he go against the instruction of the law of somebody who he believes in his heart is God? Because he didn't have control over his actions. Nier used the Death Note. Nier cheated. Fan theory debunked. Wait, what's the opposite of debunked? Fan theory proven. Another stunning 5 out of 5. Beautiful, beautiful. But in a way, is there any cheating in Death Note? Intelligence-wise, there's not really anything these characters are beneath doing, morally. It's still completely open to debate whether this makes Nier the smarter of the two. In my mind, I think the fact that he had to cheat and use the Death Note is a bit of a nobody wins situation. Because whilst Death Note was an intellectual cat and mouse game, most of all, it was a moral issue. It was about deciding and defining justice. So I concede the final victory of Death Note is Matsuda. See you kids next time.